Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Catching.
I am Mr. Parkin. This guy sitting next to me is MJ.
What's up?
What's up? It's time for us to answer some of your questions that you have been asking us down in that comment section below in our 177th Q&A video, MJ.
It's been a fun ride, and hopefully with your help we can keep on going on and 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 on.
You're getting almost as annoying as half the fucking radio music. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, ZombieFan488, aka Jake Kemp. What do you think of ADR getting fired? Honestly, I was never a fan of him, but still very shocked that he was. What do you think?
It was his destiny to get fired.
It was his destiny! Yeah, well,
No.
it happened so long ago, I can't actually remember all that much about what I think he slapped someone backstage, he racially abused him or something.
Thing is, I feel this way about some wrestling in the WWE, but when you've done so much with a wrestler and you start to lose where they're going to go next, you're keeping them around to be an odd part of a match or to just have a filler match instead of having a proper direction or proper future with that wrestler. And Alberto Del Rio had his time and he just didn't seem to climb back up.
No, I mean, they tried to package him as a main eventer, it didn't work, and then basically they ended up making him a jobber. And it probably just got to the point where it's like, right, we better cut our losses with this guy, and we're doing budget cuts right now, so let's just fire his ass, because we're not going to do anything with him that's going to justify the amount we pay him. Probably, I don't know how much he was paid, but that's just my guess. Robert Hernandez, how would you do an Undertaker versus Sting and a Roman Reigns versus Lesnar feud, both at WrestleMania 31, promos, fights, etc.? I think Undertaker versus Sting would book itself. You wouldn't really need them to do too much. I mean, you basically have them in promo segments. You wouldn't have them brawl or anything. You'd have them touch for the first time at WrestleMania. That would be the featured attraction of that, I guess.
I look at these two and I feel the fact that it's a match that some fans, long-term fans, have been dying to see. The WWE will just play off that. They both want one final match and they'll build off that reasoning.
Roman Reigns versus Lesnar again. Kind of books itself. You have Lesnar be a dominant heel champion who never shows up, and you have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble and then beat him for the belt at WrestleMania. I think that's pretty much how you'd book the feud.
Well, this is the week following Hell in a Cell, so we're going with the logic that obviously Brock Lesnar eventually defeats whoever wins at Hell in a Cell, goes on and continues being the champion until we get Roman Reigns in Lesnar's possible last match. Just simple book like that.
Jack Daly, what is the worst gimmick on the main WWE roster today?
Here we go, got two.
Go on.
Adam Rose and the frickin' bunny.
Oh, I can't believe you said Adam Rose and the bunny. That is one of my fave five, MJ, you're talking about there. The worst gimmick on the roster right now, which is kind of weird for me because I haven't watched WWE in quite some time. I actually don't know. Because I haven't really watched WWE in quite some time, so I don't really feel like I can answer the question, if I'm honest. So I'll have to go with your answer, I guess. Would Cena... Why don't you like them? I'm just curious.
Okay, the thing is, Adam Rose, the WWE seem to be trying to find something for him to do, so they put him in these weird matches that we don't really give a damn about, but the attraction's not on him, it's on a freaking bunny, and now they're thinking, where can we go with this bunny? I know, let's have Hornswoggle as a crocodile, let's have freaking El Torito, and let's make some kind of freaking match out of it. It's meant to be entertainment, but no, it is absolutely garbage you're giving us on a wrestling show where we're tuning in for quality, not stupidity.
Sounds pretty entertaining to me, anyway. Would Cena still be hated by the IWC if he was a good in-ring performer? I think he probably would, because no matter how good of an in-ring performer you are, the IWC eventually always turns on you anyway.
No. Even if he was a good in-ring performer, fans are not hating him for his e-cart wrestling.
He's had good matches, hasn't he? So, you know.
The fact is, it's his booking. He could be the best wrestler in the WWE today. Fans will still hate him because he's still scheduled to go into these matches that he shouldn't win and win. That's it. It's just down to that.
Simple. Do you think Dolph Ziggler and MVP would make a good tag team? Nah, no, I don't. What's the point? They're never going to tag team up now. So.
Even though it's not going to happen, I'd say yes. You've had Matt Hardy and MVP. They were okay for that short period of time. You've had MVP and Mark Henry. So I think with Dolph Ziggler being an entertaining wrestler and MVP back then finding his place, I think they could have paired up.
I guess it's just it won't ever happen. So I don't know. Whatever. Heisenberg 717. Say worst case scenario, the crowd turns on Reigns and The Rock can't come back for WrestleMania. Then who do you have face Lesnar at WrestleMania 31? Well, they'd probably go with Cena again. I mean, Cena's always the backup choice, so it would probably be Cena or Dave Bautista.
I look at this and think it's going to be possibly Brock Lesnar's last match, unless the WWE think. I know we've got the UFC thing coming up, but I think if we couldn't have Roman Reigns, I've had my wants in the past, but right now with the way the WWE booking it, yes, it's going to possibly be John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, you could possibly have, maybe a returning Daniel Bryan. Don't know whether he'd be legitimate enough to face Brock Lesnar. I don't know, but probably John Cena. They will probably go with John Cena. Tim Crace. Who would you like to see Brock Lesnar face at Hell in a Cell? Now, this would have been asked before all the Hell in a Cell fiasco would have been... I mean, you would have thought that after the match at Night of Champions that Brock Lesnar would have probably faced John Cena in a rematch at Hell in a Cell. But they apparently it's not going to be back to Royal Rumble, so...
They kind of got that jump because the way the match finished at the pay-per-view, you would think they'd have a rematch following it in a bigger structure. But the fact they skipped that would have been the most obvious. Next, I would have probably had Randy Orton just get his match against Brock Lesnar and lose.
Well, maybe a returning Daniel Bryan, I don't know. Would you like to see Seth Rollins cash his Money in the Bank briefcase in a Hell in a Cell or WrestleMania 31?
It's not going to be Hell in a Cell.
I'll say, no, it's not going to. It's probably not going to be, well, it's not because there's no title match. But WrestleMania 31 simply because of the fact that it's never been done before.
I think he's questionable right now. He's been booked quite well against Dean Ambrose, but the cashing in, is he going to be one of the ones to lose or win? If it happens at Mania and lose, is a bit embarrassing to cash in and not get the job done at WrestleMania.
Well, to be honest, 18 seconds and Daniel Bryan was main evented 2 WrestleManias later. Just saying. Anyway. What would happen if WWE lost to the Alliance at Solaris Series? Well, there's no point in really asking that question because it never was going to happen because WWE had control.
I'm sorry, that would have been, disrespectful and horrible, and it would have gone downhill quickly following that pay-per-view match.
I mean, what would they have done afterwards? The WWE wrestlers wouldn't have been on the TV. You'd have the Alliance wrestlers. It would just be stupid. Terrible. So, no. What about Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker at Hell in a Cell? No, I mean, potentially WrestleMania, maybe last year in a Hell in a Cell, possibly, but no point in them two facing off at any point, especially not Hell in a Cell.
If you're saying Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, to be totally honest with you, yes, it's not at WrestleMania, which was Undertaker's legacy, but I think it should be done every pay-per-view now. There should be no more Taker matches, because basically the thing that was keeping them alive, like we've said in past videos, is gone.
Should WWE have done CM Punk versus Kevin Nash? No, because they should have kept the fucking belt on him.
Back then when Triple H was involved, no.
Would you like to see Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Nash? No.
Another big guy for Brock Lesnar, but no. I don't think Kevin Nash is anywhere near workable for the WWE.
Abdullah Shakar. Will Dean Ambrose be WWE World Heavyweight Champion one day? He is currently my favourite WWE superstar right now. I don't know. It's one of those things that I do wonder whether he will get a championship, and if they still had the World Heavyweight around and had the 2 belts, I would say yes. But now they only have 1 belt. It kind of really doubts it as to how good you need to be to actually win that belt. So I don't know at this point in time whether he'll win the belt or not.
I look at Dean Ambrose, and out of all the Shield members, I think Dean Ambrose would have been second, likely picked or became champion. Seth Rollins I would have put third. Now, I think the fact that it's the other way round, Dean Ambrose at the back. Will he become champion one day? They could do a briefcase match and then he does it that way. I'd say yes, but I can't give you an estimate time of when.
Mr. Parkin, do you hate John Cena? No, I don't hate John Cena. I can appreciate the fact that he does have some upsides, but it's just got to the point with me where I don't care anymore, so I don't let it get to me. Unlike, this guy here and a lot of people in the IWC, just saying. Which WrestleMania do you think was the worst WrestleMania? Of what I've watched, it was probably WrestleMania 15. That was terrible. That was fucking
I can remember that. When we did the review stuff.
Ages ago. But Rock and Austin was great, but everything else was fucking awful. It's like you can't just have one good match at WrestleMania. I mean, there were other shitty ones as well, like WrestleMania 27. That was one of the worst WrestleManias, simply because of just how much I pumped myself up for it, and it turned out to be complete shite. So I'd say either 15 or 27.
I'll go with 15 because 27. I'm guessing if we look back at the card, we could have named more matches in that WrestleMania that we like.
That's probably because it's more recent, but you do have a point. Who was really the face of WCW? Was it Sting, Goldberg, or someone else? Nope. It was actually Ric Flair as the face, and then when Hogan came in and they started getting success, Hogan was the face of the WCW. There you go. That's the answer to that question. What are your top 5 John Cena rivalries so far in his career?
Two.
And you got John Cena
Edge.
Batista.
And Randy Orton.
Batista as well.
Not the recent one, Pat.
Batista one. That was pretty good, him and John Cena. That was when Batista was doing some of his best heel work.
I think it was only 3, because I'm not going to name 5
you wouldn't say The Rock then?
No.
Okay, so he won't name 5 because NJ doesn't want to. Tim Crace. What matches would you like to see at Survivor Series? I would like to see a couple of 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches, maybe like a Team Miz versus a Team Ziggler or something. I don't know.
The biggest one that they're looking at, even though they've recently removed Orton from it, would have been the Authority versus someone. But now they've removed Orton, it looks like, on the past Raw. It looks like they have to make maybe a miniature one and then have a championship match as the main event.
Yeah, I mean, Survivor Series is a month away, so it's not like this is unfeasible. I mean, I guess you could do... I mean, if Brock Lesnar... If I'd have it my way, I'd say bring Brock Lesnar back for it and have him face John Cena, but that probably won't happen. Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Looks like they'll probably end up doing that at some point down the line. Rusev versus someone. Big Show, I guess they'll probably do it. I don't know if this will be a one-and-done thing, but... I'd like to see some 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches. I really would, and not just a total Divas versus actual Divas one. Give us some proper fucking 5-on-5, 5-on-5 matches. It'd be just that 5-on-5. RFE089. Mr. Parkin, thoughts on Man United's new summer signings? How much time you got? Falcao, very good striker, but he is, just coming back from an injury. Thank God we only loaned him. Not exactly playing too great so far. Ander Herrera, I just don't think has fitted in as well as I really thought he would do because he's not really a CDM and they can't really play him as an attacking mid. I think Blint has come in quite well. He's exactly the kind of guy we needed in the midfield. Luke Shaw, again, he's a young guy, so he's not exactly going to be playing great yet, but he's going to be, he's going to be a very good left back down the line. Rocco has done all right in the centre of defence. Who am I missing here? I'm trying to think who the fuck am I missing? I'm missing someone, but I can't think who it is. Yeah, we'll have to just stick with that because I can't really remember any of the other signings because that happens when I get put on the spot. By having Lesnar defeat Cena at SummerSlam, are you basically putting over the UFC over WWE? Are you? I don't think you are. I mean, Lesnar was a big part of UFC, but I don't think necessarily it's putting UFC over WWE. But I think in the way that Lesnar beat Cena at SummerSlam, it was a little bit to the point where, well, who the fuck can beat Lesnar if John Cena can't? If John Cena can't take him to the limit.
If the WWE booked this up to be a UFC-style match, and obviously Brock Lesnar came out when John Cena was doing all the wrestling moves, and Brock was doing the UFC, yes. But the fact that it's more WWE based, it was just a match in my opinion.
Does TNA lack memorable moments since it started as a company? I I mean, it depends, I guess, how long you've been watching it. I guess for us, yes, the memorable moments won't be that many. I'll always remember Austin Aries winning the belt. I'll always remember James Storm versus Bobby Roode and that feud when it was really at its peak. I'll have memories like that, but then again, they're generally the memories that go to TNA are the bad memories, aren't they? You know, with Eric Young being champion, Chris Sabin being champion, Jeff Hardy being fucking stoned at Victory Road 2011, Lockdown 2014 being shocking.
Sadly, I was watching a video, and I don't normally bring this out, but one of both Schlag Daddy and another YouTuber was mentioning Kurt Angle coming into TNA. He's the one who brought in a lot of the current memories for us, because obviously he helped TNA quite strongly when he came in. But yes, the ones that Mr. Parker named helped our liking.
And now the everlasting memory being the day when they didn't have a TV deal with Spike anymore. But you never know, something might turn around. Thoughts on fans claiming that WWE would go out of business because they never had Daniel Bryan win the 2014 Royal Rumble? Clearly, fans that are saying that they know about business, but clearly fans that don't. I'm sorry, that is just one of the most... I totally get it. It's one of the most stupidest things you could... Oh, Daniel Bryan didn't win the Royal Rumble, so WWE is going to go out of business. How fucking stupid is that? You could have a jobber win the Royal Rumble and they still wouldn't go out of fucking business.
It's a bit sad how when something negative goes in the WWE's direction, like, even now I'm hearing it because of how unhappy fans are getting. The WWE would have to go through something dramatically life-threatening for people to go off it. So for Daniel Bryan not to be in the Rumble and win the Rumble is nothing compared to the likelihood of other wrestling promotions. I
think it's a bit stupid that fans, just because their favourite guy doesn't win the Royal Rumble, they think that the WWE will go out of business. WWE have got so many sources of income, and they've been around for so long, and they've got so much brand equity, and they've got so much brand recognition, and they're pretty much dominant in the wrestling market. So they're going to be able to exist as a business for quite some time, even though they are currently going through some budget cuts right now. But there's no way in hell that anyone can sit there and say that because Daniel Bryan didn't win the 2014 Royal Rumble, that WWE would go out of fucking business, especially going into WrestleMania 5th season. I mean, that's just silly. Do you think Rusev should win the US title because it will fit in with his character? Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. Why not do it?
Okay, two things for this. As much as you do have a point, his character going against all these wrestlers who are trying to stand up for the United States, two things. I'm against it. Number one, the US title means nothing, so he can have it, but then what? Second thing is, it's happened before when you've had an American versus another person against America, and the storyline was hot for the time being. I'm not trying to say, oh, it's not going to work, but I just have no faith in the US Championship.
Well, I think the faith would more be put in Rusev than the actual US Championship, because you've seen so far with the WWE that they have actually done quite well with Rusev and giving him, like, you know, low match, and then they've been just building him up a little bit and giving him wins. I think they've had him win at every single pay-per-view so far. So I would have faith in the WWE that they would push Rusev and Lana more than I would in the sense that they would push the US Championship. But because the US Championship would be associated with them, and generally their storylines are situated with the US Championship anyway, I just think it would be a natural fit, and you know, you could push Rusev along with that US Championship and maybe make it mean a little bit more. And then as soon as a real American comes along and takes the belt off him, you know, I won this for America, blah blah blah, US title, actually
John
using
Cena.
the fucking name.
No.
As if John Cena would go after the US title. Fuck that. Anyway, that's been another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Good, Jim.
Please keep asking your questions down in the comment section below, and we will be back next week in the same clothes. Well, I will, for another Q&A.
And thank you very much for watching. This has been a fun video. Keep us going to 200, and the best will be yet to come.